Howdy y'all. Thanks for taking time to listen to my opening video. I look forward to answering all your questions tonight. My game, I think, was really built around the relationships that I built with people early on. Eric was the first and my only real final two I had in this game. When I first met him, I realized he was going to be someone who was both a social and strategic threat, and someone that I really wanted to work with to the end of this game. So we created the PE class based off of the high school themes of Dear Evan Hansen. I thought Peter and Eric PE would be a funny way to put it, which is why throughout the end of the game you heard gym teachers unite because we were the PE teachers. I also connected early on with Ashley. Ashley I had played a previous org with, and I had told her that if we ever linked up in the future, I'd love to play together. So she was also somebody I knew I could trust and work with moving forward. The early pre-merge game, there wasn't a lot of big moves. A lot of it was kind of just floating by and making sure my target wasn't very big. Marvin went home on one vote. The Steve vote was probably the most intense and probably the most game-changing pre-merge for me because it was at that point that I really got to hook up with Jester. Jester was somebody that I'd also played a previous season with Jay, and me and Jester had butted heads the whole time, and it caused both of us to lose to Jay and his power trio in the end. So we had said if we ever had the chance to work together again, we would. So this game was the first time we did, so we did. Going into that Steve vote, it was made known to me that, hey, Steve is pretty good with Eric, and he plays with Canadians. And I knew Steve from just around the org community as someone good at challenges. And so I said, hey, let's go after Steve. So me, Kat, and Ashley voted Steve. Jester stayed true to Nicole, and they put their two votes on someone, and then Steve was his last vote. And so Steve won. And from that point, I said, okay, I still got Ashley, which is really good. I've got Jester now in my back pocket, and I've got Eric, hopefully, who's going to survive the other side. Fast forward then to the final 12 split tribe when it came to the Nicole vote. At that point, Nicole really hadn't talked to a lot of us, and there was rumors going around that she was Travis's sister, to which I didn't know in the game, but my brain immediately then went to, okay, if I'm a family member of anybody, I'm going to vote for my family member to win. And if you're someone who doesn't talk to me, I'm going to vote you out. So I did. Nicole went that round, and we got to Final 10. Final 10 came up, and we had 5 people from my original tribe, along with Travis, and then 4 from the other side. And so we kind of sat back and went, okay, we technically have 6-4 numbers, though Travis doesn't want to talk to any of us on our original tribe anymore. And Meg doesn't have a vote. So we have 9 votes tonight. And we said, great, we have the numbers 5-4. At that point, Alex messaged me and said, hey, look, what would you think of taking a shot at Eric? I think he's the biggest threat. I think he's somebody we can get out. And at that point, I said, in the back of my brain, I'm like, okay, I know I've got 5. I've talked to Jester, and Jester says he's going to vote against Megs. And he said Cyrus was in his back pocket, and he'd love for me, Cyrus, and Ashley to work together, and so they'll vote Megs too. And I'm like, okay, it's 7-3. You've got Bree and Travis and Alex who are just out there. Alex is saying he has numbers. All of a sudden now Alex is pissing other people off. And I'm like, you know what? We're just going to keep it simple. We're going to vote Megs out. To which, truthfully, voting Megs out wasn't all that great for my game because she was somebody who didn't have a lot of connections at that point, but I was one of them. And I kind of sat back and said, I don't love voting Megs, but I've got Eric who believes we're a top 2, Ashley who believes we're a top 2, Jester who's saying he's a top 2, and I don't want to betray their trust by trying to keep Megs, who truthfully won't have the social capital at this point to help me further in the game. So at that point, we decided to vote 5 votes Megs, 4 votes for Eric, and Megs went home. This pissed Alex off to the point where Alex didn't talk to me then moving forward. And I just kind of sat back and said, well, look, if Alex wants to dig his grave, I'm not going to stop Alex from doing it. I still wanted to work with Alex moving forward, but I also knew at that point I've got the 5 original people from my tribe. I've got Jester, and now I've got Jester and possibly Cyrus, because at that point then, Jester created a chat with Ashley, Cyrus, me, and we had a 4. And we said, okay, we want this 4 to go to the end. And I said, cool, like, let's do it. And so coming into that vote then, we said, okay, let's take a look at the votes for tonight. Ashley played. We knew Ashley had an extra vote. And at this point, I knew Jester had an idol. And I said, okay, Ashley, go ahead. You don't have to use your vote tonight. We know it's going to be Alex. We don't know where Travis or Bree are at, but we're all going to vote Alex because that just makes the most sense. So we did. So the vote went down 5-3, and Alex went home at final 9. Final 8 is kind of where things went off the rails, and I don't truly know who flipped it. So the morning before Touchy Subjects, I called Cyrus because he was the one person at this point who I wasn't quite sure where his head was at. And in my brain, I said, I've got Eric and me as a taken to the end duo. I've got me and Jester who promised each other to take us to the end. I've got Ashley, who is kind of third on my tier now. And then I've got Cyrus, who Jester is swearing to me that he's going to be on our side and he can work with us. But to that point, I hadn't talked to Cyrus. And what I knew of Cyrus was he is somebody who's very good socially and tends to make it to the end of games. So I wanted to make sure I had a chance to talk to Cyrus heading into that final 8 immunity challenge. So I called Cyrus that afternoon and I said, okay, Cyrus, here's my thoughts. I just want you to hear me out. This is how I think we can make it to the end. I said, tonight we're at final 8. I said, we take the shot at Travis, send Travis out here at 8. At 7, we take out Bree. So all of a sudden, there goes Travis, there goes Bree, we're at final 6. At final 6, if Eric doesn't win immunity, let's take out Eric, because he's not going to be someone who loses competitions in the end of the game. You take out Eric at 6, you then take out Kat at 5, who I thought at the time had the merge idol that Eric truly had since he didn't tell me that he had it. So I said, okay, Travis, Bree, Eric, Kat, and now me, you, Jester, and Ashley are sitting pretty at final 4. And at which point then, we can talk between the 4 of us of who do we think we need out. At that point, my ideal final 3 was Jester, me, and Cyrus, because my fear was Ashley would be able to out-talk me at final tribal council. Cyrus said, okay, that makes a lot of sense, but he also was giving me a vibe of he wasn't convinced. And so I texted Jester, and I'm like, Jester, I said, you sure Cyrus is with us? He's like, yep, he's with us, don't worry. So then we go into touchy subjects. And I knew kind of right off the bat that Eric was getting flowers, I was getting flowers, and everyone was kind of just steamrolling Travis. So coming out of that, I'm like, okay, well, we still should be good with numbers, and we still should be able to go after Travis tonight. And so I touched back base with Eric and with Ashley and with Kat, and I said, hey, look, like, we're Travis, right? Like, that's what we're doing tonight? And everyone's like, yep, Travis. Okay, great. 20 minutes before tribal council, Jester texts me. He's like, you're going home tonight, boo. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, we got a group of 4. I got Eric in my pocket. I said, like, you smoking crack? Like, what's going on? He's like, no. He says, Ashley's going to use her extra vote tonight. She's going to put 2 votes on you. Kat's going to put a vote on you. Cyrus is going to put a vote on you. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, aren't we in a group of 4 alliance with Ashley and Cyrus? Didn't I just have a phone conversation with Cyrus today to say, Cyrus, here's our end game. Let's get to the end together. Like, none of us are comp beasts, but, like, we can do it. And Jester's like, I don't know, but if I give you my idol, will you play it? And I'm like, well, yeah, you're going to give me your idol that you've been sitting on for the last couple rounds? Like, I'll play it. Like, I trust you. And he's like, okay, I'll let you know. So we got closer. 5 minutes before, he's like, here's my idol. You're going home tonight. If you don't play it, you better play it. And I'm like, cool. So at this point, my brain's scrambling because I'm like, what in the world? So 3 minutes to tribal council, I call Eric and I say, Eric, like, do you trust me? Like, do you have my back? And he's like, sure. Like, what's going on? And I'm like, the vote's me tonight. I'm playing Jester's idol. Like, I know Jester has been playing messy with some people, but like, he gave me his idol tonight. He said to play it. I said, would you be willing to vote Cyrus with me? And he's like, well, he's like, we can vote Cyrus. He says, but wouldn't you rather just take the head off the snake? Like, if it's Ashley, go after Ashley. And I said, cool. Like, we'll do Ashley. Like, I didn't care at that point. I'm like, look, as long as I'm safe and we throw 2 votes on somebody, great. We knew Travis and Bree would each throw a vote on somebody. So we figured worst case scenario, it'd be a 2-2 split and Ashley would get to play an extra vote. So we threw 2 on Ashley. Travis and Bree threw their 2 onto Cyrus, and then Ashley on the revote had to vote Cyrus out. So now all of a sudden we're sitting here at 7. And I'm like, okay, I can trust Eric. I can trust Jester. Ashley, I don't know what happened. I said, which she played it off as Jester was the one who masterminded it. But I sat back and said, why would Jester throw away an idol and throw away a group of 4 alliance just to make a move that he's not owning up to right now? To say he could take me to the end? Like, that didn't add up. And I'm like, okay, at this point, um, I have me, I have Eric, I have Jester. I was like, I know there's Kat, and I know there's Ashley, and I know there's Travis, and I know there's Bree. And I'm like, realistically, whichever one of us guys lose the vote at Final 7 is probably going home. So Eric won immunity, and I texted Jester and I said, hey, look, we're going to play it like you still have immunity. And at this point, I said, my game's probably toast. Because there's 7 votes, and I'm going to lose 4-3 tonight. But I can't do anything about it at this point. Like, there's no sense talking to Travis. I haven't really talked to Bree. And, like, Kat and Ashley work together, and I tried to take Ashley out. So, like, I guess GG's. And then there was a vote loss. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I have a chance. It went to Rox, and Bree went home. And to me, that was honestly one of the bigger losses of the game because I had felt like Bree was playing a very good under the radar game. And where Travis was kind of in your face, she was able to be the person behind the scenes pulling strings. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe that just happened. And I can't believe they went there. And like, I'm the luckiest man in the whole wide world. Um, so then going into final 6, I'm like, okay, well, it's me, Eric, Jester, and then there's Kat, Ashley, Travis. And I sat there and looked at the guys and said, well, look, if Kat's got the idol, because neither one of you has it, I said, Kat's going to play it on herself. I said, so we're better off voting Travis or Ashley. And in my brain, I wanted to vote Travis because I still imagined a world where I needed to bring Ashley along with. At that point, Ashley reached out to me and started saying, please, please, please make me the vote so I don't have to go to Rox. And I'm like, why would you not want to go? Like, why would you not want to hit Rox? I said, in a world where you're still believing Jester has an idol, I said, and Eric just won immunity. I'm like, that's 2 people safe for my side. If we go 3-3, there's no reason for the other side to go to Rox. I said, why would anyone give up their spots to go to Rox and a 50-50% chance to go home? Little did I know Travis and Kat would actually do that because I still don't know why. Because of loyalty, which kudos to you guys for loyalty. I wouldn't have made the same decision for the guys. Obviously, Final 6 Tribal Council played out the way it did. And it shocked me that Ashley was saved by 2 people going to Rox over a 50-50 chance to stay. And so we're sitting at Final 5, and once again, Eric wins immunity. And it's like, okay, there's no advantages. We know where the numbers are going to be at. And at that point, Ashley and Travis had said to me, hey, look, we're voting Jester. And in the back of my brain, I sat there and said, who's going to be better off for my game moving forward? Is it better for me to go after and take Jester out at this point and maybe sit at the end with Ashley and Travis? Or am I better off taking Travis out at this point, knowing that he's going to beat me in the end if I don't? So I truthfully tossed and turned on that thought for a good portion of the scramble time to the point where I had 2 separate slips written up. So when the time to vote came, I sent in Travis, but the moment I sent it, I'm like, I probably should have sent Jester. Thank God I didn't send Jester because otherwise I would have gone home 2 to 1 to 1 to 1, and I would have looked stupid as heck. Obviously, Final 5 went the way Final 5. Then Jester once again chose to keep me over Travis. And then we got to Final 4 where Ashley won immunity. And then I did fire against Eric. And truthfully speaking, I don't have a good prowess with challenges, so I didn't think I could beat Eric. But I did, so cool. That's kind of my game. I am looking forward to hearing your questions tonight. Hopefully you didn't get bored with this video. And yeah, I look forward to it, guys. Thanks.